it takes caring more about how you feel than anything. We know it takes discipline, but even more than that, it takes starting it at an easier place and letting the momentum help you. You can't just jump right into the middle of a problem and suddenly think different thoughts. You have to start in the easiest place and then just go from there. So the first step is acknowledging that I care how I feel, and that I can feel that the circumstances do not have to dictate how I feel. It's like a decision that you have to come to. I've just decided that I care enough about how I feel that I'm going to deliberately direct my thoughts little by little into places that feel better and better. And after a while it's easy, because law of attraction brings the momentum of better and better feeling thoughts to you. Do you believe that if someone is feeling bad, and if you join them in feeling bad, that will help them?
No.
You can't get sick enough to help sick people get well, or poor enough to help poor people become prosperous, or confused enough to help confused people become clear. In other words, it doesn't help them. It's just, we love you so much, laziness on your part. It's just not having come to the decision that you can feel better. Maybe someone has convinced you, if they're miserable, that it's wrong for you not to be miserable too. But after a while, life has to show you that being miserable isn't fun, and it doesn't get you what you want. Hard words, we know.
Yes.
When Jerry made his transition, you know about Jerry and Esther? When Jerry made his transition, Esther thought that she was destined to be sad forever, because it was easy to be sad till she got tired of being sad. Or she just finally woke up one morning and said, enough of this. I have the power to direct my thoughts in less sad places. You just have to decide. And it really is what we're asking all of you to think about all day, every day. How much misery are you willing to allow yourself? And if we were standing in your physical shoes, we would say not very much. In fact, we would say not any. In fact, we would say not any, not ever. And those around you who are still miserable might say, where were you last night when I was being miserable? I count on you to come to my misery parties with me. And you say, hey, I found other parties. And you're invited, but don't come miserable. You'll bounce right out. We're being playful about this, and we know there are things that when they happen, or when you see them, or when they're close up to you, it's not easy. We acknowledge that it isn't easy, but we will also acknowledge it gets easier and easier and easier and easier, because there is a momentum and law of attraction that will carry you. And you are supposed to feel good life. And if you don't, something has gone wrong. You've practiced something else. And we're not saying you're making it up. We're not saying that it is not with reason that you are selecting some of that. And we're not saying that it's sometimes not up really, really close to you. But we are saying it's temporary when it comes, and you can work your way around it, and you are supposed to feel good. And we will not agree with you that sometimes stuff just happens and you can't help the way you feel, because you can.
And is there any way that I can help this person to feel better?
By feeling better, that's the only way.
Feeling better.
By feeling better. In other words, you cannot give, you see, because in your alignment, this is the way we like to explain this. When you practice, when you're not with them, when it's easier, and you practice alignment until you've really got the hang of it, so you're really feeling good more of the time, so that you are connected to that energy stream. When you're connected to that source energy stream, you are more powerful, you are more influential than millions who are not. So then, law of attraction will cause you to dovetail with them in a moment when they are more likely to hear you. If you are resonating with their misery, law of attraction will cause you to rendezvous with them when they're in their misery. And that's the relationship basis that you have. But if you are deliberately feeling better, if you're making lists of things that feel good to you, about everything, but even about them, and until that's what's dominant in your vibration, that's how you'll match up with them. And sometimes it helps them. Sometimes it doesn't. But it's their choice, just like it's your choice. The only reason that you ever feel negative emotion is because you've gone somewhere your inner being won't go. It's that departure from source that causes you to feel that way. Isn't that worth thinking about? My inner being will not join me in this negative thought. And that's why I feel negative emotion. And so that's a good thing for you to learn from your inner being. And then make it clear to everyone else that you're not going to join them in theirs. Someone said, but what about compassion? And we want you to know that what true compassion is staying on your high-flying disc while you hold someone as your object of attention. That's what Source does. True compassion. Not letting your circumstance cause variance in the frequency of Source. And so that's the best that you can do for someone else, but you got to practice yourself there. Because whatever vibration is dominant will dominate the moment. And so if you've been sort of lumbering around, sort of feeling good, not feeling so good, not feeling good, yes, no, pros, cons, you're sort of all over the place, you're not really solid on that high-flying disc. And you meet someone out of obligation, maybe you work with them, maybe you live with them, maybe you were born to them, and as you now rendezvous with them, and you're not on your high-flying disc and they're not either, so that's the relationship you have. If you've been practicing feeling better, first of all, those rendezvous don't happen organically as often because law of attraction doesn't put you together. But when you make a decision to march yourself over there and complete your obligation, or maybe you want to be with them because it is somebody that you love who's having a hard time, if you enter their sphere and you're on your high-flying disc, then and only then is there a chance that they might join you there. But also, there is less chance that you will join them there, you see. So it may be that you just meet up and you don't really have a comfortable conversation because you're not resonating with them and they're not resonating with you. But at least they don't move you from your disc. You see what we're getting at? So now let's talk about this momentum. Let's say that you've sort of been dabbling at feeling good, but you're not really sustaining it very well. And they've not been dabbling. They're an expert at feeling bad. They've been practicing it with a lot of people, and they've got it down, and they are misery dripping. And you walk in, and you don't have much momentum going. You're on a higher disc than they are, but you don't have much momentum going. Their momentum will suck you in. It will. Their momentum will suck you in and make you believe that that's the reality. But it isn't. It's just a temporary state of being based upon the vibration that they've got going, you see. You want to be so tuned in that when you hold someone as your object of attention, you really have something to give them, you see. But you got to practice it when it's easy. You can't start out like that because they'll get you every time.